Hello, family, friends, former co-workers, and stalkers. After 45 years in the information technology business, I retired this week. I thought it would be fun to make this little video, I haven't made one in a while, about some of the more memorable points in the career. The first programming language I ever used was BASIC at Upper Darby High School, Mr. Stanfield's class, and we used these paper punch tapes to type in and save your programs on those pieces of paper and play them back to run your program. Mr. Stanfield was a great guy and didn't only help with math and computer class, but he helped a lot with decisions about going to college, because I had no idea about, how to do that with my bad grades and my bad money situation. So he helped a lot. Thank you, wherever you are, Mr. Stanfield. So the summer after I graduated, 1975, I was working in a retired priest home in the kitchen. And one night I was over at Aronimink School on these courts right here, playing basketball and talking to my friends about how much I didn't care for that kind of work, basically. And this guy was there. And so I'm talking to my friends, and they all left, and it was just me and the other guy shooting the ball. And he just out of the blue says, "Well, Bruce, I didn't really know him. Bruce, come to my place tomorrow, my business, and check it out. And if you like it, you can have a job." So I'm there, doing what? He's there, he has a computing company. They handle the computing needs of various companies. So I'm there, okay. So I went in there, and it was awesome. Go in this office, everything's nice. He offered me a job, took the job, of course, left the retired priest home kitchen job. He ended up being a really great boss. And one thing I won't forget, so I started as a gopher, just driving around the various client sites, bringing their paper that they had to key punch in back to the office, that kind of thing. And I moved up to being an operator, then a programmer, operator. It was all COBOL back then. It was on a Honeywell 200 with 16K of RAM, no disk, 6 tape drives. So one day I was operating. I was in the room, computer operations room, and I was just kind of standing there like this, standing around while I was waiting for a job to be finished. So Gene Kruger, he comes in and he looks at me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing, I'm just waiting for that." He says, "So you just stand there?" I said, "Yeah, I don't have anything to do." He walks out of the room, walks back in, and he hands me a broom. And he says, "I never want to hear you say you don't have anything to do again." And you know what? From 1975 to this day, never did I say I got nothing to do. And I did always have something to do. I always found, something to do. But that all came back to that day, Gene telling me that, and I still remember. He was a great guy. He would go out personally, buy everybody turkeys at Thanksgiving, physically bring the turkeys in and plop it on your desk. I remember my mom liked that because she got the turkey that I would bring home. And he brought all these turkeys, and he went to the store and he got them. So he was a great guy. Thank you, Gene. You got me started. He physically sat there too and taught me COBOL. I mean, I didn't know COBOL at all. He taught me it. My first program was called EFF 005. It was for TV Guide, Effort 5. There was 4 billing cycles, and if you didn't pay your bill in those 4, then it went to me, and I had to write the program that they mailed bills out, the 5th bill to people. That was the first program I ever wrote, COBOL, and Gene taught me totally how to program while I was going to school, but he taught me better than anything I learned in community college. But community was okay, but he taught me great. So thank you, Gene, wherever you are. Then I worked at Sindlinger Marketing Research Company. They did polling. He was an economic pollster. My brother was the outgoing programmer, analyst type person, and I came in and replaced him, and he moved on to another job. The thing I remember most about him and his polls were like Harris polls, Gallup polls. In the 70s, there was a Sindlinger poll. Not as big, but still it was pretty big. The thing I remember was how he would have people phrase questions, and he would kind of scream at them. You can't lead people with the questions. And you look at all the stuff going on in politics today and how they phrase the question to get the answer that they want. He says, no, it's got to be a straight up question. You can't use all these adjectives. And the way the news media is today, you can't do all that. You got to ask them straight up. So his polls back then probably would have been more accurate today, the way they do polling today. We used a Wang computer then, a single platter disk. You had to replace it. It looked like a record. We were writing in whatever that Wang language was, and then Fortran. So I got into doing a lot of their economic forecasting in Fortran. So that was pretty interesting. So one of the fun places I worked at when I was younger, and I was just turning 21, and the reason I remember that is because those guys, Ken, Bill, Steve, Barb, Jenny, took me out on my 21st birthday for my first drink. So that was a lot of fun. And it was funny about Jenny that her mom I worked with at that first job at Kruger, and she had passed away there. Then I worked with her. Then I didn't see her for forever until Facebook. And then we had a mutual friend who was my pilot flight instructor, because I was a pilot I was learning to be a pilot at the same time that I worked at MAB. So it's a small world out there. So a cool story about MAB also was right down the hall from us, there was this guy, and his name was Stan Javi, and he was one of the head NFL referees. And I used to think that was so awesome that he would just be a regular guy, say hi to him in the hallway and that stuff. And then on Friday, he'd take off, get in the jet, fly to Oakland, go do the Raiders game that weekend, that type of thing. He did 4 Super Bowls. He's in the Hall of Fame. And it's just like some guy. So anyway, put it in my head to do refereeing. That might be interesting. And later on, when I moved to Jersey, I did see an ad for refs needed basketball, and I did it. And I reffed high school basketball for 23 years. So I retired from that like 4 years ago, I guess it's been. So I'm retiring all over the place. But that came from my time at MAB also. I got into consulting working for Keene Associates consulting firm, and went to a number of client sites, learned a lot in all those different places. Scott Paper, Penn Walt, Calculon, where I wore 2 different shoes to work one day, and mainly the Bank of New Jersey in Moorestown, New Jersey. So I had a couple assignments there over a year, and after the second one, they offered me a job, and they worked it out that I was allowed to work there. So then I ended up working at the Bank of New Jersey. Met all these crazy people: Tony, Bill, Frank, not too many to mention, Sue, Cynthia, John Z. And number one, Kathy. So that's where I met Kathy, and the rest is history. Then I worked for insurance companies: Reliance, Insurance and Cigna Insurance in Voorhees and in Philadelphia. Cigna was a lot of fun, probably the longest job I think I had, and fun. I mean, talking fun, but we had softball leagues, bowling leagues. I mean, with like 20 lanes, 15 softball teams. It was big on sports, big on going to the Puffer Belly after the sporting events. It was a lot of fun. The geek, this guy, first day I worked there, George, he says to me, "Oh, my name's George Keller, but don't worry, remember my name, because I'm out of here." He always thought he was out of here. And he was there my next 14, whatever years that I was there. And then plus more, he was there. So, and then Bob and Mike Callahan, Tony Cuba, Tom Carbon, all these guys. And just a great place for sports and after work, softball, basketball, bowling, name a sport, we did it. Then came the consulting years. I started my own business, Dynamic Data Consulting. And I was lucky enough to get clients over the years to keep it going. GMAC Commercial Mortgage probably was my longest, many years I was there. Betsy, Rob. It was really a great place to work. We started with just a few people, and then it grew, large team. Built the corporate intranet. It was very, very cool work there. One of the interesting projects I got as a contractor was at QVC. We were supposed to go in there and redesign their order entry system. They ended up canceling the whole project, but it was cool just sitting there, and down the hall was the TV studios. They'd have some areas with audiences, but most of them were just empty, except a person on camera, and that's it. Not even a cameraman. It was all controlled from control room. The cameras, everything else. There's nobody in there. So that was pretty different. An interesting project also was working for a telemarketing company, RMH in Bryn Mawr, with Tom, Christine, a lot of other people. I was the first DBA there, and we ended up with 7, 8, 9, I forget how many. So it was pretty cool because I got to work on the do not call list. I will do anything to work on do not call me lists. So that was good. Then in Maple Shade, there was Payroll Associates. Fun place to work. And hey Val, how you doing? Good bunch of people. Had a lot of fun there. Learning payroll. It's very cool with IT when you do something specialized, as long as there's enough jobs around for it, that you can jump from banking to insurance to healthcare to payroll to whatever, because the back-end databases are all generally the same thing. Yeah, you're not going to be a business expert on all of those areas, but you're going to be pretty decent on all those areas. So that's one thing I liked over my 45 years, being able to move from any type of business to another type. And really, there was never any big issues at all. Just keep learning in my case, SQL Server databases and anything to do with them, performance tuning, coding, design, modeling. At Advertising Specialty Institute, ASI, really good bunch of people. See who was there? Anton, Andre, Leo, a lot of other people. I don't want to mention every name. It was fun working with all yous back then too. Good bunch of people. Did a lot of good work in the advertising area. Another different line of business. So that was fun. You guys are crazy. Last but not least, last 10 years I worked at Virtua. Actually, I'm wearing a shirt. Can't see it in here, but I worked at Virtua last 10 years. At the beginning of my 10 years, Kathy was still working there. So, as you recall, if you're paying attention, we both worked at the Bank of New Jersey in 1980 something, and then she finished her career there, retired, and so did I now. So we both retired, so that was nice. Great people there. A lot of fun working with everybody, all the other people on my team, DBAs, all the teams. Everybody was fun there. And we did outside things like MS bike rides, 75-mile bike ride down the shore, or just little jaunts. So that was a whole lot of fun. Heart walks, all kinds of things like that. So yeah, I'll miss everybody, but if you don't mind, I just want to retire and just play music. You can't see the keyboard, but play some music, learn some more things, finish my country's travel. That's my virtual 195 countries in 195 weeks. Got 60 left as of today, 62. So I want to do those kind of things. And like I said, when COVID dies down and Kathy and I can travel, that'll be nice. But for now, this coming Monday, I won't be getting up early for the call at 8:30. All right? So you all have a good one. It's been a pleasure working with all you. I know I probably skipped like 5 places I worked. There's a lot of contracting places over the years. So it was my pleasure working with everybody, all you co-workers out there, and thanks for everything. Bye. I'll see you on here, if not outside in the real world, if we ever go out to the real world again. All right, bye.